The Galactic Council had ruled the known universe for 3 millennia, their combined fleets numbering in the millions. Admiral Kren of the Vorthan Empire adjusted his ceremonial armor as he gazed upon the holographic display showing their latest conquest. Another species had fallen to their might, their homeworld now smoldering under orbital bombardment. The outer Rin sectors report complete pacification, announced his aide, a young officer whose species had been conquered centuries ago. Resistance has ceased. Kren nodded with satisfaction. The Council's doctrine was simple: overwhelming force, applied with surgical precision. They had perfected warfare over millennia, studying every tactical manual, every strategic principle. No species had ever withstood their advance for more than a few solar cycles. That was before they encountered the signal. Deep space monitoring stations detected it. First, a weak transmission from beyond the galactic edge, originating from a system that should have been uninhabited. The message was primitive, almost laughably so, transmitted on electromagnetic frequencies that most civilized species had abandoned eons ago. Greetings. The message began in a dozen different languages. We are the people of Earth. We extend our friendship to any who receive this message. The Council's xenobiologists were fascinated. Here was a species that had barely achieved interstellar communication, yet they dared to broadcast their location to the entire galaxy. It was either supreme confidence or supreme stupidity. Fleet. Commander Drac of the Hegemony Coalition studied the preliminary reports. These humans inhabited a single world in a minor system, with no apparent allies or advanced defenses. Their technology was primitive, their population small. They would make an easy addition to the Council's ever-expanding territory. Deploy the 47th Subjugation Fleet, Drac ordered. Standard protocol. Disable their communications. Eliminate military. Targets demand surrender. The 47th Fleet was more than sufficient for such a minor conquest. 12 dreadnoughts, 40 destroyers, and 100 support vessels. It was enough firepower to crack a planet's crust, wielded by species that had perfected the art of war before. Humanity had invented agriculture. The fleet emerged from hyperspace at the edge of the Sol system, their sensors immediately cataloging the primitive defenses. A few orbital platforms, some rudimentary warships, nothing that could pose a threat to even their smallest vessel. Broadcasting surrender demand, reported the communications officer. The message was transmitted in the standard format used for all first contacts. Submit to Council authority or face annihilation. The response came faster than expected, and it was not what they anticipated. This is Admiral Cole of the Earth Defense Force, came the reply. You are entering sovereign human space. Withdraw immediately or face the consequences. Laughter rippled through the command deck. These humans actually believed they could threaten the Council's fleet. Commander Drac decided to make an example of them, something that would be remembered throughout the galaxy. Open fire on their orbital installations, he commanded. Show them the folly of defiance. The fleet's weapons discharged in perfect synchronization, beams of coherent energy that could vaporize mountains. The human installations simply vanished, reduced to expanding clouds of plasma and debris. But then something unexpected happened. The humans didn't surrender. Instead, they attacked. Their ships moved with impossible speed, accelerating at rates that should have liquefied any organic crew. They employed tactics that violated every principle of civilized warfare: ramming attacks, nuclear detonations. At point-blank range, boarding actions that resembled ancient berserker raids more than military operations. Sir, the humans are using projectile weapons, reported a tactical officer, his voice tinged with disbelief. Solid metal slugs launched at relativistic speeds. Impossible, Drac replied. No civilized species would resort to such barbarism. Yet the impossible was happening. Human ships, little more than armored tubes with engines, were punching through shields designed to withstand the most advanced energy weapons. They fought with a ferocity that the Council's forces had never encountered, showing no regard for their own survival. The battle raged for hours, and slowly, impossibly, the tide began to turn. The humans' crude weapons were proving devastatingly effective against technology that had conquered 1,000 worlds. Their tactics were unpredictable, chaotic, brilliant in their simplicity. "Fleet Commander," his aide whispered urgently, "we're losing ships." Drax stared at the tactical display in growing horror. The 47th Fleet, pride of the Council's navy, was being systematically destroyed by primitives who shouldn't even have been able to scratch their hulls. "Initiate planetary bombardment," he ordered desperately. "Glass the entire surface. End this madness." The bombardment began, but the humans had prepared for this too. Underground shelters, mobile command centers, distributed manufacturing. They had studied every invasion in galactic history and prepared countermeasures that no other species had ever conceived. As the last Council ship fell silent, its crew either dead or captured, a new transmission went out from Earth. This time, it wasn't a greeting. "This is Admiral Cole to all Council territories," the message began. "Your fleet has been destroyed. Your survivors are being treated according to the rules of war, which apparently your species never learned." The transmission was picked up by listening posts throughout the galaxy, creating panic in the Council chambers. A subjugation fleet had been destroyed, not by another galactic power, but by a species they had dismissed as primitive. "The Council will not tolerate this aggression," came the eventual response. "We will deploy a full battle group to end your species' existence." Cole's reply was immediate and chilling. "We were hoping you'd say that." The follow-up invasion never came. Council intelligence services, working frantically to understand their defeat, discovered something that sent shockwaves through their command structure. The humans hadn't just studied galactic warfare. They had studied each other. For their entire history, humanity had been refining the art of war against opponents who shared their creativity, their adaptability, their refusal to accept defeat. While other species had conquered primitive neighbors, humans had fought each other for millennia, each conflict driving innovation and tactical evolution. They had developed weapons the Council had never imagined, strategies that defied conventional wisdom, and most terrifying of all, a mindset that viewed warfare not as a tool of conquest, but as a test of survival. The Council's doctrine of overwhelming force had worked against every other species because those species fought according to rational principles. Humans fought according to human principles, which meant they fought to win regardless of cost. As reports filtered in from across the galaxy, the truth became clear. These weren't just primitive barbarians who had gotten lucky. They were the products of a crucible that had forged them into something the galaxy had never seen before. The Council had thought they knew warfare. They had been wrong. The age of human expansion was about to begin, and the galaxy would never be the same. Word count 1,300.